Welcome to Onslow County today and the beautiful Onslow County Discovery Garden. There could not be a more beautiful spot in our community, and we're so grateful to Cooperative Extension for inviting us here today. We also have some wonderful guests that will be joining us. We'll talk with Allison Romano with some summer safety tips from the Onslow County Health Department. We'll also chat with Jennifer Randall from the Onslow County Public Library about their upcoming Comic Fest, as well as an author event with Mary Alice Monroe. And we'll also talk with Marie Gibson because this is National Pet Month and adoption, and we want to make sure we find a forever home for our furry friends. And finally, we'll talk with Tara Taylor about all things 4-H in Onslow County. As always, we're so glad that you're here for Onslow County Today. Welcome back to Onslow County Today, and joining us now is Allison Romano from the Onslow County Health Department. Allison, thanks for being here.
Thank you so much for having me this morning, Lisa.
So we're in this beautiful location.
Yes.
Springtime, summertime's on the way.
It's beautiful.
And our Onslow County Health Department is always about keeping the well.
Yes.
And providing the best possible information to keep us healthy and happy and safe any time of year. But for the summertime, especially in a coastal community like ours, we want to talk about some key points today. And of course, the first thing we always want to talk about, especially because we have so many children, we have the beautiful rivers, we have the ocean, swimming pools.
Yes.
And it's great, but we want to be safe.
Yes.
Allison. So give us some key points about water safety things to remember.
Absolutely. So May is Water Safety Month, and being on the coast here in North Carolina and all the kind of activities that Onslow County has to offer around the water, we want to really stress the importance of being as safe as we can be and being as prepared as we can be when it comes to activities on the water. So whether that's swimming, kayaking, being out on a boat, being at the beach, we want you to keep a few things in mind.
Okay.
So the first thing we want to keep in mind is to be aware of water conditions. So check before you go out, ask local park and recreation workers, anyone who might be there, like a lifeguard, what the conditions of the water are. You really want to pay attention to those. The second is that you always swim with a buddy. So make sure if you're going kayaking, if you're going out on a boat, if you're going fishing, swimming, anything that has to do with the water, we want to make sure that you're with a buddy, or if a friend knows where you are. So in case something happens, someone has your location.
Very good.
Third thing, we want to stress the importance of, if it says to wear a life jacket, wear a life jacket. If you're not a strong swimmer, if you're out on a boat or doing any sort of activity on the water, a life jacket could really, really prevent any sort of harm or any kind of accidents that may happen.
You know, when we talk about, and I want to circle back just a little bit, the idea of water conditions, when we're at the beach, the threat of rip currents is a real and insidious and sometimes just sneaky thing. We can't always see it, we can't always sense it. And so really, as you said, checking in with local officials about the water conditions and watching just the daily news accounts on television, because they're going to give you those rip current threats and conditions. So
absolutely,
always just being aware. What about swim lessons? What do you all, in guiding our families about swim lessons, the importance of just, if it's not a formal swim lesson, but always just making children mindful that while the water is beautiful,
Yes.
it's something to be respected.
Yes, so whether that is the ocean, a lake, a pool, whatever body of water that you're going to be enjoying this summer as the temperatures heat up, because they are
Yes.
getting warmer, it's to make sure that, one, you're always supervising young children and children of any age that are going to be swimming, making sure they have the appropriate gear such as swimmies and a life vest, things of that nature. If it's a pool, making sure that those pools are secure. So we want to make sure that pools are gated, that those gates have locks, and that children don't have access to be able to jump in that pool unsupervised while mom, dad, grandma, grandpa aren't around.
All eyes on.
Yes, absolutely. That is the best way to prevent it. As far as swim lessons, one thing that I encourage that's not related to swim lessons, but we do host a lot of American Red Cross classes.
Yes.
And learning CPR and learning
Awesome.
first aid, especially around the water where accidents can happen, is so important. So we want to kind of stress that it's a great class to take. It's important to know these skills because you can help save a life in the event of a water emergency.
Well, in any emergency, right? The idea
Absolutely.
of CPR and American Red Cross training, and you all provide that information where we can get that those trainings.
Yes, absolutely. So right on the county's website, as well as our Instagram page, we post whenever we have classes coming up. We give the contact information. If you're not ready to sign up, but you just have a few questions about it, anyone on our community relations team is happy to help. Our next CPR and first aid class that we will be teaching is coming up on September 9th.
Very
and all that
good.
information is available on the website.
Fantastic. Well, here we are sitting out in this beautiful day.
Yes.
Right? And the other thing we want to talk about is sun safety and
Yes.
protecting ourselves from skin cancer.
Absolutely.
So let's talk a little bit about that, those protective layers we all need to remember.
Yes. So May is National Skin Cancer Awareness Month. It is something that, in terms of public health, we take very seriously. Skin cancer is one of, if not the most preventable cancer that there is. North Carolina, unfortunately, ranks pretty high on the list of rankings as far as skin cancer. We are 13th in the nation. So it's very important to get the message out there about how to protect yourself from the sun. So what we recommend is always wearing sunscreen. You want an SPF of at least 30, if not higher. You want to make sure that you're reapplying it every 2 hours, or every time you get out of the pool, the ocean, a lake, any kind of body of water. You want to make sure that you're reapplying it. Sunscreen is going to be your best form of protection.
All right. Sunscreen, and then we know for our littles, I mean, they make all kinds of great now swim shirts, anything that's going to add that. And remembering too, those times of day, while we want to be protected any time of day, there are those days that are more, those times that are more intense.
Absolutely. So the way that the sun is the strongest between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. That is going to be kind of your peak UV exposure. Also important to keep in mind, a lot of people will tend to kind of peek their head out in the morning and see if the sun's out or not. UV exposure can still be very, very high on a cloudy day. So it's important to not just think the clouds are going to shade you and protect you. You can still get sunburned and have that exposure while it's cloudy out as well. And the other point that we really want to stress is checking yourself for any sort of skin abnormalities.
Right.
So if you notice a new freckle, a new mole, something that doesn't quite look right, the best thing you can do is to get that checked out, because the earlier that it's addressed and treated, the less harm it's going to cause down the line for you.
So put on those layers, always with the sunscreen, hat that covers, being aware of the sun, knowing that the brightness doesn't always indicate the dangers of that sun exposure.
Absolutely.
And just being aware, having those areas checked, and doing an annual just check of your skin in general.
Absolutely. And you want to make sure that you're bringing up any new spots that you might notice. Even if it turns out to be nothing, it's better to be safe than sorry.
Absolutely. The other thing that summertime brings is we're going to be all out and about, hopefully enjoying ourselves, taking vacations, and along with our checklist as we prepare for vacation, you all want to make sure that we are up to date on our vaccinations. Talk a little bit about that.
Absolutely. So when summertime starts ramping up, we talk a lot about safety and sun safety and water safety. But something that people don't always realize is things that you can be exposed to while traveling, whether it's here in the US, going to visit family or going on a fun vacation somewhere, whether you have big plans to travel abroad this summer and enjoy other countries. It's important to make sure that you're up to date on your immunizations, especially right now. The US is dealing with a measles outbreak that's coming out of Texas. There's currently around between 800 and 900 cases here in the US right now.
Okay.
So we really want to make sure that if we're traveling safely, we're returning healthy, and we're able to enjoy and make those memories with our family and loved ones and not have them be memories of being sick while on vacation. Measles is a highly contagious infectious disease. It is spread via air droplets, and it's completely preventable by getting the MMR vaccine, which we do offer at the health department, as well as other vaccines. So we have our immunization clinic. We take all forms of insurance, whether it's Medicaid, TRICARE, private insurance, no insurance. We will see absolutely everybody in the community who wants to be seen by us. And we have a fantastic group of nurses that will actually look at your travel plans and let you know exactly what vaccines you may or may not need to get into that country or to come back into the US. So that's important to keep in mind as well.
Well, you know, when I hear you talk about the staff at the Onslow County Health Department and the fact that your nurses, that team of nurses, is going to say, okay, let's go over this list. Let's make sure that you have the best possible, healthiest vacation you can.
Yes.
When we think about making travel plans, we don't oftentimes think of our health department nurses, but they're an integral part of that.
Absolutely. They're wonderful. They will tell you exactly what you need depending on what country or where you're going. And they'll also recommend vaccines and other immunizations to keep you safe depending on where you're traveling and what your health records show.
Fantastic. Well, Allison, for folks who want to know more about all of these things that you've shared with us today and to find out more about the offerings at our Onslow County Health Department, how's the best way to find you?
So there's multiple ways. You can walk on in and talk to us. That's always an option if you're in the area. We're right over on College Street in downtown Jacksonville. We also have our website. Our health department link and website has every resource you can imagine on it, as well as just give us a call and you can ask to speak with someone in the clinical department, or anything we've discussed today, you can always ask a member of the community relations team.
Fantastic. Well, Allison Romano, thank you for taking this time. You're going to help us kick off our summer safely and healthfully.
Yes, we want everyone to enjoy their summer safely.
Very good. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Thanks for having me, Lisa.
Welcome back to Onslow County Today, and joining us now is Jennifer Randall from Onslow County Public Library Youth Services. Jennifer, thank you for being here this morning.
Thank you as always for having me. I love it.
What a beautiful day.
It is gorgeous today.
We are talking about several really fun events you all have coming up, and the first, and we chatted with you all a little bit about this last month, but we want to continue to encourage people to think about the annual Comic Fest that you all have coming up. Tell us when, where, and what do we need to wear?
Oh yes, so this will be taking place on May 17th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. at our Onslow County Main Library, which is on Doris Ave in Jacksonville. And come dressed as your favorite comic book character. Come dressed as Batman, anything that you can think of that's a comic book character, come dressed as that. We definitely encourage that, and we definitely encourage it to be a family event.
Yeah.
So make sure that if your kid is dressed up, you as adults can dress up just as well. So
I know that last year we saw like all kinds of themes, like whole groups come in, like coordinating. They were the whole cast.
Yes. And it's so fun because it really encourages that sense of like family, and when one person does something, we want to encourage everybody in that family to do it. So it kind of like opens them up to being more exploratory as a family. So it's really fun. It's a fun event. It's have lots of vendors coming out, lots of comic book vendors. We also have a author, Kirk Reestrom, is going to be coming in, and yes, he is going to be doing an author Q&A. He'll be signing books. He'll be doing an author chat. So we're really excited about that one too. Yep. Duck and Moose.
Big fan.
So, yes, we are too. We're really excited because obviously I'm a children's librarian, so I'm going to gravitate more towards those kids' books, and I'm very, very excited to meet him as well. So
that is fantastic. Big fan.
Yes, he does amazing illustrations, and the kids really love it too. So
that's awesome. And then for those, maybe the older crowd a little bit, although she's also does children's books as well.
Yes.
You have Mary Alice Monroe coming, and we want to hear all about this author event.
Yeah, so Mary Alice Monroe is going to be coming to our Sneads Ferry Library on May 16th at 1 p.m. and she's going to be showcasing her newest book, Where the Rivers Merge.
Oh.
And so that is an adult book. However, she has done some transitional reads with our Angie May that came last year.
Yeah.
So it's really fun to see her transition to her adult books, but she's fantastic beachy reads, so I think it's perfect timing for her to release this new book right as summer is kicking off. So.
Where the Rivers Merge.
Yes.
Now, you know, having read a lot of reviews about her books, I mean, this is a real connection between nature and who we are as a place.
Yes.
And I love those connections. It's a story that we tell here in Onslow County. So being able to meet her and connect with her stories, what a great way to kick off the summer.
It is. I'm excited. I'm very excited to meet her, and just excited for our community to be able to meet her as well, because I don't know how often we get those big authors coming in, but it's always fantastic to see that.
And let's reiterate again the date, location, and time.
Yes, so it's going to be at the Sneads Ferry Library on May 16th at 1 p.m.
All right. Is there pre-registration required for that event?
There is. We ask that you pre-register just so that way we know how many to prep for.
Sure.
But it is open and free to the public. So if you don't get a chance or you're not sure if you're going to be able to make it, that's totally fine. You can still come and be able to experience the Mary Alice Monroe effect as well. So
that's beautiful. Now, last but not least, we want to, go ahead and open the door and peek in.
Yep.
Because it is time as we are preparing for summer reading. What's this year's theme and what can we look forward to?
Yes, summer reading is knocking at our door. This is the busiest time of the year for Onslow County Public Library, and this year's theme is Level Up at Your Library. So it is a take on all things that are gaming. So we also, we know that electronics is a big part of that, but we also want to take the electronics out of it. So we're going to have a lot of really cool programs that are geared towards gaming, but not the electronic kind.
Gotcha.
So
okay.
Giving a little sneak peek of what's happening, what's coming up for the summer.
Leveling up at your library.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk very, very soon about all the kickoff events that you all have planned and all the cool things.
Yes.
But we always want everybody to go ahead and get that on their radar.
Yes.
So they'll be planning.
Yeah, so all branches, so all 4 branches, so Jacksonville main branch, the Sneads Ferry branch, the Richlands branch, and the Swansboro branch are all going to be doing their individual kickoffs on June 14th from 10 to 2. And so you can go to any of your branches, that's your home branch, and be able to experience the summer reading kickoff as well. So you don't have to come to the main branch to experience that like we had done in the past. So,
all right.
Yeah.
Well, this is so exciting. Author events, Comic Fest, and then of course getting ready for summer reading. I know that you've got to run because today's a storytime day.
Yes.
And they won't be the same without Miss Jen.
And they will tell you right away that they are not happy if the specific person that runs Storytime is not there. So it is very, it's heartwarming, but at the same time, you got to run. You got to do what you got to do.
Well, Jen Randall, as always, it is such a pleasure chatting with you, and we're looking forward to all these great things coming up at our public libraries.
Yes. Well, thank you so much again for having me, and we look forward to seeing everybody this summer.
Welcome back to Onslow County Today, and joining us now is Marie Gibson from Onslow County Animal Services. Marie, thanks for being here today.
Thank you for having me, Miss Lisa.
So May is a really special commemorative month. Tell us what this is.
So May is National Adoption Month.
Okay.
It is
And National Pet Month.
It's National Pet Month, it's Adoption
Yay.
Month, it's all of the things. We're really excited.
Yeah.
One of our biggest events we have going on this month to start off from the 1st to the 15th is Bissell's Empty the Shelters event.
Oh, and I don't know that there's not one of us who hasn't seen the commercials about why Bissell cares so deeply about pets, but this is really a national sponsorship, a national event that you all participate in.
Yes, ma'am. It's actually really awesome. I didn't know until I started the shelter that Bissell even does this, and the fact that they help with any shelter nationwide to get things out. So the sponsorships that they have going on. It's $70 for dogs for adoptions,
Okay.
and $20 for cats and kittens.
You know, it is so important we talk about this is giving shelter pets a
That
home,
loving
that
home.
forever home.
Yeah.
And so again, the adoption fee, $70 for dogs, $20 for cats, and that's a 2-week event that you all are hosting this?
Yes, the 1st to the 15th.
Very good. And then you have one of your fantastic Empty the Shelter. We want to make sure everybody finds that forever home.
Yes.
Talk about that.
Empty the Shelter is exactly what it says. It is to empty the shelter. We are trying to get everybody out and everybody into a loving, great, and amazing home so they don't have to stay in the shelter any longer than we don't want to have them there. So.
And the thing is, you've got that right fit for that right family.
Yeah.
You have older pets, you have
Younger
little tinies,
pets.
you've got these brand new babies, and then those pets who might need a little extra love.
Yeah.
And so this is making sure everybody makes that connection.
Yes, all across the board. Everybody finds their special pet and gets their special place.
Now we know that in April we hosted the annual Fabric of the Community Awards, and we honored one of your really just founding volunteers, Miss Susan Stevenson.
Yes, ma'am.
Just share a little bit about why she's an inspiration, but also how all of your volunteers and the support that you all receive from the community makes such a difference.
So Miss Stevenson is definitely a very, very big part of who we are and our everyday lives and how we do things at the shelter. Just having her as that support and having her helping us in any way possible with any adoption sponsorships or events of any kind is great. Volunteers, if we didn't have volunteers, we really would not have much help with doing events and stuff for the community in the community. It takes all hands on deck. It's the employees, it's the volunteers, fosters, everybody is like a hand in helping getting animals out into their forever homes.
And talk about why, for all of you all, because I've not met anyone, to everyone I've met, it's because of your love of these furry friends.
Yeah.
Talk about that amount of love that you all have.
So I definitely I love all the animals.
Right.
I wouldn't do what I'm doing
you
if I
go.
didn't love them. I just love, it's all the parts. We get to see everything from when they come in to seeing how they grow gradually, and then they get ready for adoption, and then they get put up for adoption, and then we find them that forever home. It's that great feeling that you're you're doing something really good, and you're just so excited to get someone their forever loving pup or kitten or cat. And then normally just getting to see that whole 360 of
Sure.
the pet change from when they first come in to when they
Their
actually get their home.
personalities change, don't they?
They show that they're normally scared and nervous when they first get there, and then we kind of just give them some extra TLC, give them the treats, get them out walking, do all the good things, kind of get them really happy and know that we're there for them, we're there to care for them, love them, and get them ready to go to their forever home.
Fantastic. Anything that you want to share with us today about you all, what you're doing, or how we can learn more?
So we do have a good majority of events that are happening in May. I know that May 4th is actually an adoption week. It's
Okay.
in for May 4th of the week. We do have a couple of PetSmart events, a Buddies event, and a senior services and animal shelter event coming up at the end of May. All of those things you can see on our Facebook page as well as on our website.
Fantastic. You're out and about all over the community. You've got all this great volunteer support, and you can always use more, and always
Yes.
remind us all how important it is to give those shelter pets a forever home.
Yes. It's always very important. We could always use more volunteers and more fosters as kitten season is coming in very
Yes.
strong right now. We can always use that extra helping hand, but it is just all across the board. You need all hands.
Very good. Well, Marie, it is a pleasure chatting with you. Thank you for all that you do, and happy National Pet Month and Adoption Month. We look forward to finding those forever homes.
Thank you.
Welcome back to Onslow County Today, and joining us now is Tara Taylor with Onslow County Cooperative Extension 4-H. Tara, thanks for being here today.
Thanks for having us.
Well, actually, I should tell you thank you because this is your beautiful Discovery Garden where we are today, and we are so appreciative that you all have invited us in.
The Master Gardeners do a wonderful job out here, don't they?
They're fantastic.
Beautiful.
And you are raising future Master Gardeners through the 4-H program and lots of other incredible things. We want to talk about all the great things that Onslow County 4-Hers are up to, from clover buds to big kids.
That's right. And you know, because your kids were involved in 4-H, but there's always something going on.
Absolutely.
There's never a season where it's not busy. And we have actually a Junior Master Gardeners Club, so it's funny that you say Master Gardeners. And they, the big Master Gardeners have allowed the Junior Master Gardeners to come out and do some programming out here. So it's been pretty exciting. They actually worked on the flower beds over at the farmer's market about 2 weeks ago.
See, we start them young,
Yeah.
and then they look at the beauty they create.
They do a great job. We have a wonderful club leader for that program.
Now, and we're going to talk about that in a little
Yeah.
bit too, is the value of those club leaders. But let's talk about some things you've got coming up on the horizon that your 4-Hers are involved with. And
That's
the
right.
first is a chicken show.
That's right. Every year we do the Coastal Plains Chicken Show, and Onslow County is just one of the many counties that are a part of that show. And so they sign up in December the previous
Wow.
year. So they have to really plan. It teaches our kids about goal setting. It teaches them about responsibility, and they have to work towards those goals. And then they get the chicks in, well, we actually got them in February this year. We have an orientation in January. They get the chicks in February. We have workshops. Of course, Miss Melissa Huffman, our livestock agent's a big part of that. And we come together. We do some showmanship workshops. We do project record books, which help us learn about accountability and record keeping.
Yes.
We all need to work on that, don't we?
Right.
And then they're actually going to have their show on May 8th. It'll be held at the Lenoir County Livestock Arena, and it's open. So if people want to come from the community and support the kids from Onslow County, but also I think we have about 8 counties participating. So even if you're seeing this and you're not from Onslow County and you want to come and support the kids, it's going to be a lot of fun.
I imagine the connection that they create. It's a sort of a non-traditional way to learn responsibility, but how incredible to be responsible for this little chick and raising it up and showing it off.
Well, and then after that, they get to keep their bird if they got a layer. So they'll have some of them may start their own egg production.
Wow.
Backyard operation, and then some of our young people are actually raising broilers, and those will actually get. The meat will get harvested and put back into a donation type situation where we'll actually donate the meat to the food bank. So it all comes full circle, and I think that's wonderful for our kids. And they start as early as age 5 with the Chicken Project. And so even our clover buds that are not competitive, they get to go out. They all get prizes, and they're learning about public speaking because they set that chicken in front of them on the table, and they have a one-on-one conversation with the judge about what they've learned in their project, their chicken's name, what breed they have. And so they don't know that they're learning to speak in public.
But
they think they're talking about chickens, and that's great because the next thing might be harder. It might be something more challenging. It might be that they are giving speeches for competition and things like that.
Very good. I love, as you said, this full circle
It's full
idea,
circle, that's right.
And really making that connection. And then on May 17th, you have another big event coming up.
We do. We've been working for months to prepare, and last year was our first time doing this, and Jessica Garner and Paige, our FNEP coordinator, they all help us, and we have young people that are preparing to be a part of a healthy living cooking competition. It's called the Dynagore Healthy Foods and Nutrition Competition.
Okay.
And last year it was so big at the state competition. This year we went. It was so much fun because it was at the Got to Be NC Festival.
Yeah.
So who doesn't love that, right?
Absolutely.
And they decided to have regional competitions this year. So our young people have already been preparing. We took 3 teams to regionals, which was held in Nash County probably about a month and a half ago. And 2 of those 3 teams did well enough that they're advancing to state.
Wow.
And so we have an 8 to 10-year-old team and an 11 to 13-year-old team, and they not only have to cook, they're not getting to cook with a kitchen. They have a box of items. They have an electric skillet, and they have a hot plate so they can put, like, they can boil water, or they could, you know, use a pan, and they have items in their box. And then when they get there, they have to work as a team. So we're teaching these valuable life skills. And so they're having to set up their table. They have to clean, disinfect, do all the food safety things. Their hair is back. You know, they have to, they get a secret ingredient. So it's kind of like Chopped on TV. And so when they open up their bag and they look at that ingredient, their time starts. And they're given 40 minutes to shop in the pantry. And they've got little, you know, 4-H Clover money. They shop in the pantry, they make their meal, and then they have to prepare a presentation. And the presentation piece is actually 60% of their score, which is so exciting because, you know, I love public speaking.
Yes.
And those young people are not only cooking and being creative and not cutting their fingers off and not causing food poisoning and all the fun stuff with food safety. They have to then go and tell a group of judges about what they prepared, about the food safety they followed, about the nutritional information on this ingredient they didn't know they were getting. And we've kind of upped our game. Since regionals, we learned we needed to add a little bit more because they got their scorecards back. And so Miss Jessica and Miss Paige have really helped the kids dial in their nutritional information. And so they've been practicing every Monday, and they speak about, like, dietary guidelines, serving sizes, all of the My Plate information. They have a ton of information they share, and their presentation is actually the biggest part of it. So it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
I'm blown away.
Yeah.
I'm just blown away with the intensity.
Yeah.
And the amount of homework and preparation that they have to do. And this is something, not just for this competition, they're going to carry this with them forever.
Well, one of the biggest success stories last year, we had a young girl that she's deathly afraid to speak in front of people. But because she was able to do it in a team setting, she felt like that was her family. You know, she developed this relationship with her team. And her parents said what was kind of the neatest part, other than her learning to speak, was that she was able to come home and, like, on her birthday, they said, "Where do you want to go to eat for your birthday?" She said, "I don't want to go out to eat. I want to cook for my family."
That's beautiful.
So she made, like, an Alfredo from scratch, and that was stuff she learned, and it's carried over. She's back on the team this year, so she's even stronger. She's got one of the same teammates, but then she added a new teammate, so they really have hit it off. And so I think that those things, like, the parents are coming in and saying they're worrying us to death wanting to cook every day. I love it. I mean, don't you want your child to come home and cook every day? Yeah, so it's great.
Well, you know, the thing is they're learning those skills now, and when they are out on their own, when they, you know, leave home, go to college.
Right, have their own family.
Right, have their own family. They're not going to depend on, you know, calling or making those fundamentals. This is teaching not only nutrition science and food safety, but creativity.
Oh yeah, it is one of the neatest things I think that we do. I love public speaking, you know that, but I think that this is something that will carry them through their life, and they'll look back on that 4-H experience because, you know, we look back on what we did as children, and we think about the highlight reel, I say, you know, and the big things. And this to me is a big thing because they have a chance. They're top 4 in the state already. But
awesome.
They have a chance to win at the state level. They're going to get to go to the Got to Be NC Festival. So that, I mean, that's fun within itself, right? And that'll be in Raleigh on May 17th, and people can come and watch.
Well, you know,
it's a lot of fun.
We really need to reinforce when you're saying that Got to Be NC.
Yeah.
Remind people that symbol that they're looking for, because this might be at farmers markets, this might be at restaurants,
right,
or farm stands. Share with them a little bit about really how important this idea of Got to Be NC is.
And so that secret ingredient that the kids are getting, also they try to pick something that is North Carolina produced. One year they said they had the Wagyu beef, which is very expensive, but a farmer donated that for the kids to use. Of course, the kids had never cooked with that. Much too expensive. So that was probably a lot of fun for that group. But you know, here at our farmers market, which is right here at the Discovery Gardens, you can buy locally raised produce and meat, things that are not just North Carolina grown, but also Onslow County grown. And so, you know, you want to look for that local when you're shopping. And you can find that in the grocery store as well, but you can actually find that label for North Carolina grown. So that would be pretty pretty awesome if you're able to support not just the United States, but North Carolina or Onslow County.
Got to be NC, and I love that your kids
Right.
are already experiencing
That's
that.
right.
Now, the last thing we want to talk about is summertime. You all, like we said, there's never a quiet season for 4-H.
No, we've been on the go every weekend. I think for the past 5 weekends, we've had some major thing. This coming weekend, we have a horticulture state competition. Last weekend, the kids went to the state horse judging competition. So there's always something with 4-H. There's never a dull moment. And so this summer will be like all the rest, you know, busy, busy. We have summer camp coming up. We already have about 25 children signed up for overnight camp, which is like a full week where they go to Eastern 4-H Center. We go with them. We provide transportation. We send back pictures to their parents because they can't take their cell phone with them to camp, which is great. But I have mine in case a parent needs to get up with me. And they learn so much about themselves at camp. They get to, you know, experience being with a group of, you know, like-minded kids the same age as them. You know, they come home and, you know, they just have had the best time. You know, all the things you can think about, swimming. I say sleeping in a cabin, but the Eastern 4-H Center, you can Google that. It's pretty fancy. It's not like camp when we were younger. It's air conditioned, so it kind of is a little transitional there as far as they don't have to sweat it out all day. And then, you know, it's on the waterfront in Bulls Bay.
It's gorgeous.
Yes, it's a beautiful facility, and we just feel so privileged to have that opportunity here in North Carolina. We have 3 amazing camps, and that's a camp that we go to because it's just really convenient for our kids to be here on the East Coast, and it's about 3 hours from Jacksonville, though, so it's really nice.
Well, 4-H is life-changing,
Right.
and it's not, you know, we tend to think, traditionally we thought of it as something for more rural or agricultural settings, but 4-H is for everybody from robotics to chickens to public speaking and cooking. So
that's right, a little bit of everything, and that's really hard for some people to understand. They want to know, what can we do in 4-H? Well, 4-H is really about what you make it. And you can participate in a 4-H club, or you can be like a member at large, where you get to participate in things that pop up that interest you. It might be that Mr. John's having a STEM camp or a science camp, or we might be having something for clover buds for cooking, or we might have a photography workshop, or we might rope Kevin into coming to do something with technology. So, you know, there's something for everybody, and it's what you make it.
Well, and it's what your families make it.
Right.
And you have a lot of great leaders, as you mentioned earlier.
We do, and we couldn't do this without our volunteer leaders. Our Shooting Sports Club has 9 trained volunteers that run that, and it's a really neat program, but you cannot do that as just one person. It takes a whole village.
Well, the village that you all have put together is incredible.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tara, for all that you do for our families, for our children here in Onslow County. And as a busy bee, I say thank you.
Thank you for having me.
As always, we want to thank you for joining us for Onslow County today, and a very special thank you to our host, Onslow County Cooperative Extension, who invited us to enjoy the beautiful Discovery Garden. We also want to thank each of our guests, Allison Romano, Jennifer Randall, Tara Taylor, and Marie Gibson, who had some wonderful things to share with us. It is springtime here in Onslow County, and what a perfect day and perfect place to get out and explore your Onslow County today.